Hello and welcome to the Wiretap Whisper Podcast, episode 31, presented by me, SammyASMR. If this is the first time you're watching or listening to the podcast, this is a creator-focused podcast series where I sit down with other ASMR creators in the space and I talk to them all about their channel, their personal life, and just kind of everything in between, really. We try to film these in whispered or soft-spoken dialogue. Today it'll be soft-spoken, just to try and keep in with the whole chill ASMR vibes. But the nature of the podcast is, the longer we go on, the more laughs and the rowdier we'll get as a result. So apologize in advance, but that's just the way it is. And I am so happy to introduce today's guest as the lovely Luna Bloom ASMR.
Hello. Hi.
So good to have you. So I'm pretty sure there's not going to be many people, but for those of you who maybe aren't familiar with Luna and her content, and their content, should I say, first slip up.
Either one is fine.
Either one is fine. Okay, there we
Yeah.
go. I have a quick summary for you though. So, see, this is where I might slip up again because I think they are an American creator. I never can tell between American and Canadian accents. So there we go. Is that right?
Yes, American.
American. There we go. So I got it right. They currently have 423,000 subscribers at the time of filming this podcast across 118 different videos. They have been uploading now for I don't know if you know this, Luna, but exactly today was the day you created your channel last year. So that's
No way.
That's yeah. and I
Oh
think
my goodness.
yeah, and I think your first video was the day after, so it's a special day, clearly. And yeah, to basically summarize their content, and like kind of give like a style or genre of ASMR that they tend to go with. Luna is a fast and aggressive specialist, let's say. They do things from role plays to classic trigger videos and just everything in between, really. And on top of being hugely successful on YouTube, they are also big on TikTok with having 1.5 million followers on that platform across 25.7 million likes. So they're a very popular person. But that is a quick and boring summary from me, and I'm sure Luna is going to give a better one now. So Luna, for the people watching and listening at home today, who are you?
Who am I? Oh goodness. God, that is a really difficult question. Why is that so hard? I would say I'm an artist generally. I'm really passionate about different types of art. I love music and acting and just creating. I like that I can make something exist. I think that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say I'm an artist. Um, just a little human being.
You're just enjoying life, creating. Well,
Yeah.
that's what we're going with. No, that's lovely.
Yeah.
And obviously today we'll get into all that good stuff and more. But yeah, for those of you guys who are joining the podcast for the first time, the way this works is there is a past, a present, and a future section. We'll be starting with the past and we'll be making our way towards the future. There'll be a little bit of crossover in between, but that is the kind of structure of things that we go with here. So, like I said, starting with the past, and we're trying to go all the way to the past. So I said in the summary that you were an American creator, right? Which is obviously America is a big place. Now you don't have to give any names or anything like that, but can you kind of describe like what the type of area was when you were growing up? Was it a big city? Was it like a rural location? Like, well, yeah.
I was actually born in South America. I was born in Colombia.
Oh, there we go.
And then I came to the United States when I was like 5 years old.
Mhm.
And I lived back and forth between the north and south of the East Coast.
North and south of the East Coast. Okay, okay.
Mhm.
And it was that like a big city environment, or you were like out in the countryside, or
Mostly suburbs.
mostly suburbs? Okay. A lot of
Yeah.
people are. A lot of people are. No, that's cool. Um, what was your earliest memories of growing up? Is there anything that stands out, like, little Luna, like what were they doing? What was going on?
Oh, goodness. Little Luna spent a lot of time playing pretend.
Uh-huh.
Um,
All the best people do.
definitely definitely writing stories or making up characters and making up what their outfits were gonna be like and what their houses look like,
Mm-hmm.
and just making up different worlds and living sort of in, like, a little daydream.
Uh-huh.
That's definitely most of my childhood.
So was there like a lot of like talking through like dolls and figures and stuff like that? Were you that type of kid?
Oh my god, I had, like, I think it got up to, like, 300 stuffed animals. It was insane. Grew up at first an only child. I then later got step siblings and a half sibling, but I grew up mostly an only child at first,
Uh-huh.
but I had a bunk bed, and the top bunk was just for my stuffed animals.
Oh wow, okay. So there was a lot going on.
Oh, yeah.
I love that. So, I mean, outside of that, like, what were you into as a kid? Were you sporty at all? Were you like a dancer, singer, anything like that going on?
I wish I was a dancer. I wanted to do so many things. I wanted to do dance and sports and stuff, but the thing that I was super fascinated by was music and theater. So I started really young. I remember performing for my family at like 2 years old. Um, but I love singing and I love musical theater. So I started doing theater as a really young child.
Uh-huh. Okay. So, I mean, did that continue on into like your teenagers and stuff like that?
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
all the way up until college.
Okay. Well, that's a good segue into one of my next questions, which was like, have you been or did you go to college? So you did, and you went to do musical theater.
Oh my god, okay, so that's a whole story. So I went to college originally for theater, and then I was like, this is really fun, but I think I'm passionate about it as like a hobby more than I am about like a career.
Right.
So then I thought, okay, I really like painting and drawing, so I went for art. And then I had this art teacher who started to teach us art in the way that it relates to math and physics, and I started getting really into math, which I didn't expect because I hated math growing up,
Okay.
and I was never good at it, and then I became obsessed with math, and so then I wanted to switch to math and sociology because I was also really into psychology and sociology, so I kind of sort of was going in that path, and then I was taking this course that was to prepare me to go into my bachelor's degree, and it was talking about, like, I went to community college and then I was gonna go into, a university for my bachelor's degree,
Uh-huh.
and in this course, it was, like, asking me, "Compare these 2 colleges and see which one matches what you wanna do more, what your college career is gonna look like," and I was doing it and I'm like, "College kinda doesn't fit for me." Like, studying all these things, like, I was realizing this doesn't feel right. I wanna make art and I wanna study math, but I can do that on my own time, or I can come back and study math later. I wanna make art right now, and I don't think college is the way. So I finished that assignment by writing a letter to my teacher saying, "Hey, this has nothing to do with you as a teacher. I think you're an incredible teacher.
Uh-huh.
Um, but this course made me realize that I wanna drop out of college. I don't like it. It's
Wow.
not for me." And I dropped out. I literally had, like, weeks left of that class, and I was like, "I can't do this." And I dropped out of college that day.
Well, I mean, kudos to you for following your heart, though, because I feel like we just kind of get pressured just to, see it out. You know what I mean? So, like, I think,
Mhm.
round of applause for that. So, I mean, where did that lead you next? Like, did you get a job or like what happened next in the timeline there?
This is where it's wild. Around that same time, I was in a psychedelic jam band, So I was like, I'm gonna pursue music, and so I'm in this band, and we performed at some pretty cool music festivals and stuff, and then I started to do my own music, and within that, I started to build my social media presence as a musician at the time,
Okay.
and that got me really into social media marketing. So I obsessively started to learn about it. I would spend hours and hours on end just learning about social media marketing and writing notes and like how to grow on different social media platforms and all this stuff. And I grew as a musician pretty good. Like I ended up having a bit of a fan base. And then when I met my current partner, we started a YouTube channel together and I helped her page grow and our page grow and my page, and I was managing all these things. And one of my friends was also into social media marketing and had like a little like a firm,
Okay.
and she invited me to help brands grow their social media. And so I started working with that. And that's sort of where that led was it ended up leading into social media even after I decided that I wasn't going to do music for a while. Like I also realized I don't want to do it. I want to do it as a hobby. Um, but it got me into social media marketing.
That's insane. There's like so like you've already touched like so many different avenues of like work and life, right? Like okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't expect that. Um so something I wanted to ask you about, obviously, going into this, which from the outside as a viewer, one of the main themes of your channel is, inclusivity. Um and I think you're open about your own gender and sexuality, right? So I would love to talk about that just for a quick while, because obviously I think that's something that as you're growing up, you kind of realize more and more like who you really are, right? So I mean, at what moment in time, and can you talk through your feelings at that time? I guess, like, when did you realize that you weren't straight? Like, what was, yeah, how did that play out for you? Just to help maybe someone who's watching or listening who hasn't came out yet and are still processing those thoughts and feelings.
I think there were a few moments where it came up and I was just kind of in denial. Uh, there were a lot of moments where I'm like, "No, I'm just more comfortable around girls, that's what it is," or "Guys are just ugly and girls are really pretty, and that's what it is," or whatever it was. I remember telling my mom, I'm like, "It's not fair that girls have to like guys when they don't even, like, dress up nice, and I can't like girls and they're all pretty, like, why? Like, that's not fair that it's set up that way." Like, I didn't realize that I could just
Yeah,
like them, but,
yeah.
uh, there were so many moments like that, but I was in full denial up until early high school when one of my friends was like, you can just like both," and I was like, "Oh, okay," and, like, I guess I can, and so I started to sort of explore that, and then by college, I was like, "Oh, I only like
You
girls."
only like girls, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. I love like little Luna talking to her mom, like the whole stuff that you mentioned. That's so funny. But I mean, it's interesting because right, because I don't know, right? I'm a straight guy. Like, I have friends who are like gay or bisexual or whatever. But I've never. It's something that I've never experienced myself. So it's always nice to hear other people's stories and kind of help relate to what they've went through. Was that the same with your gender as well? Like, did that kind of come around at the same time, or maybe a little bit later?
Sort of. I think when I started to realize that I was a lesbian, it was around end of high school, and I remembered being like, "Oh, like, I wish I was a guy because this would be easier, like, and girls would be easier, and, like,
Uh huh.
people it wouldn't be such a big deal." And I started to kinda think, like, "Do I wanna be a guy? Like, I don't think that's it." And as I explored everything and there was more of a conversation around, like, not really identifying with the gender binary at all, I part of the oh my god, this is, like, so many thoughts. Um,
You're good.
I think there's a point that I wanna make about identifying as a lesbian and like only liking girls. I think that some people think that that doesn't really include people who don't identify with the gender binary at all, which is also part of why I identify as queer because I think that there are a lot of people like gender's a spectrum,
Uh-huh.
and I'm also open to falling in love with whoever it is or being attracted to whoever
Yeah.
who I happen to be attracted to. And
Uh-huh.
but I was like, you know, I think I just don't vibe with this idea of being in a box at all in any way. Like the label like lesbian, it makes it easier. It gives me language for something, but I still also enjoy the fact that I can just identify as queer or as Luna and
Yeah.
just love whoever I love. And I sometimes will even tell people I'm like, I'm just a blob. Like I'm not a boy, I'm not a girl, I'm just like a blob. I'm just a soul, I'm just a person.
Yeah. No, thank you for sharing that. That's some great insight, and I'm sure it'll speak to some people for sure. And I guess to end this like small little topic, is there any advice that you'd give for people that were thinking about coming out to their friends and family, and yeah, what advice would you give to those people at that stage?
I would say start with yourself. Remember that you can come out to yourself too. Like I think there's knowing it and then there's actually taking that moment with yourself and having that moment for yourself before telling anyone and feeling like, okay, I've got this. I'm solid. I'm good.
Hmm.
That way, whatever happens, you've got your back and you know who you are. Is I think a lot of times people try to put people in boxes or they try to say who they are, what they are. Like they're when I came out, people were like, "No, you're not gay. No, that's not true." And it was a lot of that, and it put me right back in the closet multiple times.
Yeah.
And I think if I would have had some time to myself and I felt more solid in that, the words from other people would have never gotten me so badly. So I think taking some time for yourself and remembering that that's who comes first. And people are going to try and put you in boxes because it makes it their life easier. But remember that it's important to make your life easier.
Yeah. That's great advice. I think you smashed it. um,
Thank you.
the inevitable. Now we're going to talk about ASMR. So the one thing you've probably been asked this quite a lot, but for the purposes of the podcast, how did you come across ASMR in the first place? Both maybe as a digital experience, but also maybe a real life experience as well. If you experience, the tingles in real life, like what were those first experiences for you?
The first one I remember, I know was not the first time, but it's just the one that I
The one that
remember.
sticks out.
And I was 5 or 6, and I was in summer school still learning English. I had just gotten to the US, and I had a spelling test, and I I didn't remember if cat was spelled with a C or a K. And
Mm-hmm.
so I asked the teacher, I was like, "Oh, can I get help with this?" And she like leaned over me and she was like, CAT. And I was like, "Oh my God, the thing is gonna happen. The thing is gonna happen." Is what I used to call it. Just
Uh-huh.
the thing. And then and it happened and I got tingles and I was just like, "What is this thing?" And it would happen just throughout my life. A lot of times it would happen when people would explain things to me,
Mm-hmm.
which was really difficult because 'cause they'd be at work or something. I remember one time being at work and my boss was explaining, like, the seating chart to me at the restaurant, and I was like, "Uh-oh, I'm gonna fall asleep right now." Like, I'm like, "How do I stay awake right
Oh,
now?"
that's so funny.
And
So
then
yeah. Mm-hmm.
um, digitally, I was on Reddit, and there was a subreddit called "Does Anyone Else?" And someone was like, "Does anyone else get these, like, tingles in the back of their neck or their head when someone's, like, explaining something or whispering or something like that?" And this was back in, like, 2012, and someone was like, "Oh, yeah, that's called ASMR, and there's videos for it, blah, 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 blah." And I was like, "What? I can make this happen on purpose," and it led me down a rabbit hole, and I found some channels that, like, they were just like whisper channels at the time. And I remember the first video I watched was like a minute long, and it was this girl just messing with a handbag. And she's like, I bought this bag because it made really good sounds. And I watched that over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And it also made me understand why I liked watching makeup tutorials so much, because
Right.
that's what I used to watch to like try and get tingles, but it didn't work the same way as somebody actually whispering and doing it
Right.
more calmly. And
But
that's that's where I got started. I got addicted. It was every day, multiple times a day, just looking for more whisper videos.
I mean, that is a common gateway though. Like, I've had a lot of people on now, and they always say like, "Oh, the makeup videos, like they helped me, transition over." Um, you didn't mention it there, but um, was it a mental health outlet for you as well at the time? Like, were you going to it for like anxiety relief, or like a sleeping aid, or was it just like you just loved the tingles and that was it for you?
All of the above.
All of the above.
Definitely the anxiety. I, at the time, was going through a pretty terrible relationship, and I would wake up with anxiety, and first thing I'd do is, at first, I'd just start watching makeup tutorials first thing I'd do when I woke up, and then I found that thread, and first thing I did was watch that girl playing with the handbag.
That's so funny. So you just kind of found this thing, right? That worked with you. You got it. And I guess that's what made you stay for more. Do you still rely on like ASMR today for these mental health outlets, or is it just more fun now?
I definitely
You
do.
still.
If I'm really anxious, now when I'm anxious, I tend to film instead of watching,
Uh
or
huh.
sometimes I wish that I could watch ASMR while filming ASMR, but
I actually did that once.
no way. Oh my
I
god, I
didn't.
have to try it.
Yeah, I didn't. It was like a no talking video, and it was just like yeah, and I was doing like something really boring for like a long time, and I thought I'm just gonna put some like headphones in, make sure they're quiet enough so like the mic's not picking it up, but I can still hear. And I remember I had an Edda Fox like ASMR live stream in my ear while I was doing ASMR. It was good.
Oh my god, I'm gonna try that. I'm definitely gonna try that.
Yeah, I didn't. Just don't fall asleep. That'll make a good blooper though. But yeah, so you said there when you came across ASMR and Reddit, that was 2012, right? Which was kind of like in
Mhm.
the early days, right? So I mean, that's a long time from when you first started watching to when you first started creating, as we found out. In the as we found out before, that was a year ago for you. So what was that motivation for you to say, actually, I can do this myself? Like, why can't I start creating videos? What clicked in your head there?
I think it was definitely a process. I started I trying to create ASMR videos back in like 2013. I made one video that was like, "What's in my makeup bag?" video or something like that,
Oh
and
my God.
I filmed it on like an iMac camera,
Uh-huh.
and I remembered watching it over and being like, "No, I can't do this. I hate it. I don't even wanna watch myself." And that was that for a while, and then after having been a content creator for a little bit, I started making content around 2018, and having gotten used to that kind of helped, and then I kept thinking about it, and I kept thinking about it and just wouldn't do it, and then I started really getting into, something called imperfection practices, where it's just doing something and allowing yourself to be however you are at it, whether it's bad, mediocre, or you end up being good at it, whatever.
Uh-huh.
Um, so I tried it as an imperfection practice. I said, "I'm just gonna film a video for myself, and if it's bad, it's bad." And that mixed with seeing especially these 2 creators, seeing, ASMR Eliza and Miss Manganese, just kind of doing it, especially how Miss Manganese is like, she just lets it be what it is,
Mhm.
and Eliza has, like, a more, like it's like chaos meets chill sort of vibe, and I really liked that too, and so, like, seeing them create in a way that I hadn't really seen others do it,
Yeah.
and I'm sure others had, I just like, those are the ones I ran into, that really did it. I was like, "This can be an imperfection practice, like, I'm just gonna do it, and maybe I don't post it, or maybe I just post it as unlisted or whatever."
Mm-hmm.
And I did it, and it was so much fun, and it helped me with my anxiety, and so I just got really addicted to it, and I originally just started posting just to do it, and it wasn't up until May of this year that I was like, "I wanna do something with it," and I have all of this knowledge of how to grow on social media. What if I did it? What if I actually, like, tried?
Uh-huh. Or you
And that's when that started.
or you give it a good try.
Thank you.
um, so I mean, my next question is always like, was there like early expectations? But I think from what you just said, there kind of wasn't, right? At the start, it was more to help you, right? And then, the more you done it, the more you realize, like, oh, okay, like this could take off, and then probably you started setting like expectations at that point, right?
Mhm.
Right. Okay. And I know you mentioned Eliza and Miss Manganese, who I've had Eliza on, and I'm in the process of trying to get Miss Manganese on as well. So hopefully that happens. But was there anyone else that you looked at who was already a creator at the time and drew inspiration from their content?
I think there were a few that even though I didn't I'm trying to see how to word this. There were a few creators that I liked the vibe of, and that made me think, like, making ASMR, it seems like a really chill time, and it seems like a way that to bring in the different avenues of art
Right.
into one thing.
100%.
For example, like GB and how she does cosplays and things like that, or Goodnight Moon. I like a lot of her role plays and her set design and things like that. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, this looks like fun. Like they make it look like so much fun, and like there's so many different ways to create. And I've also always really been into mental health, and I liked a lot of the ramble videos that, for example, Grace V does,
Okay.
where she just kind of rambles and talks about her mental health journey and stuff. And whenever I was really anxious, I would play her videos and just listen to her journey and what she had learned from her mental health journey, and I'm like, "This is a really cool way to talk to other people and let them know they're not alone," and I really, really liked that.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, I completely relate to where you're coming from there. And at the same time, was there anyone outside the community that like inspired you? Maybe maybe a friend, a partner, or like I guess a celebrity in a different field, and anything like that? No.
Okay, yeah. So, celebrity Aubrey Plaza, when I watched her do ASMR,
Oh
for
right,
W Magazine,
right, okay.
oh my god, I was cracking up, and it was also so good, and I liked that she was like, "Hey, like, I watch ASMR too, like, this is good shit," you know? And
Hmm.
that was at the time where it wasn't really mainstream yet, so that was really validating. I'm like, because before I was really embarrassed about it, and I'm like, People are gonna think I'm weird." I didn't tell my partner about it for a while,
Uh huh.
and
You do. You
then
keep it so secret, don't you?
yeah, like, I used to keep it so secret, and then I told my partner about it, and she was like, "This is super cool," and I kept telling her, "I think, like, eventually I wanna make them, but I'm not sure," and then I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna do it. I think I'm gonna make a video," and she's like, "Yeah," and she was super encouraging about it. So,
Yeah.
my wife and Aubrey Plaza.
It's a good duo. No, but shout out Ronnie though. She is a real one.
Yeah.
But that is gonna wrap up the past section, and we're gonna move on to the present now. But when I say the present, I'm kind of lying to you guys because it's still in the past, but it's from when Luna basically first uploaded. So Luna's first ever video on their channel is titled "Elf Girl Does Your Makeup," and it has 227,000 views, which it's a lot of views for a first video, but like everyone likes to do in the ASMR community, they like to go back to that first video. So that's obviously inflated over time, right? But it's still an amazing number. Um, I'm guessing that did it do well out of the gate? Like I know a year ago now, but can you remember what the reception to that video was like when you first dropped it?
It was s I'm trying to remember. I remembered being both surprised that it got so many views and then also like, "Dang, I was
Uh,
hoping it would get more."
uh,
But, because at the time I was creating completely different content. I was, um oh, I guess this also ties into what inspired me to start this, but, I started making content with my wife that was, like, vlog style stuff and, like, we're girlfriends, blah, 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 just that sort of thing. I was a queer content creator for a while,
uh-huh.
and then when the pandemic hit and we realized, like, oh, we were forcing ourselves to, like, be these people out in the world, and really we're just big old nerds, um, we started to make cosplay content, and we decided to make this show with elves, and we played elves, and we posted those on
So
TikTok.
it's so good. Do yourself a favor. If I'm switched on, I'll make sure I link it in the description with everything else. You
Yes,
guys need to check it out.
and, so we were making that, and then that's when I did the elf girl video, and I had, like, a decent following on Instagram at the time, um, so I posted it, I was like, "Okay, hey, I'm making ASMR, here's a video." Like,
Mhm.
this isn't the audience for it, but here we
No.
go. And so I was both surprised that this audience received it at all, and then also bummed that more people weren't about ASMR.
No.
It's like,
No.
"Come on, guys."
That's amazing. I mean, I watched a little bit of the video, and it's like it's immaculate for a first video. Honestly, like, I guess, did you want to start off with like a good impression? Like, was that in the plans? Like,
Mm, I mean, I think the mentality was more like, if it flops, it flops, I
right,
love it.
you weren't bothered, yeah,
Yeah, I really loved it, and I love making ASMR, and I love dressing up as an elf.
being an elf, yeah.
So I'm like, "You know what? Like, if everyone hates it, then whatever, because I really like it." And I had a good time.
It's funny you should say about the elf, and I was like, I wonder if they're gonna like rock up to the podcast with the elf ears on. I was like, well, I can put mine on, but that never happened. We can stop and
I
do it.
have them literally right here. I just filmed the video as an elf. It's a Christmas video, so I had them right here.
Okay, that makes more sense. You just don't have like elf ears on, like, on like right there on like a utility belt.
Yes, just at the ready, I've got
Yeah,
my
they're
elf
ready.
ears.
Oh well, I know what the podcast clip for this one's going to be. That's a funny moment. Okay, I've completely lost track. Oh, I wanted to ask, like, why this video in particular? Is this kind of something that you'd watch yourself? And then because of that, it was easy to translate over into you actually creating it, or is this a different reason?
Yes, I started off just making content that I wanted to see more of. I like I said, I was watching a lot of ASMR Eliza, and she did the follow the light or look at this, look at that sort of thing.
Right.
And that's when I started doing a lot of those videos because I'm like, there are like maybe three creators that I could find doing them. And I wanted more of those. And I really liked makeup videos. So I wanted more of those and like chill cosplays. Like when I did the elf one, I was like, I'm not like acting like it's a fairy world. It's just kind of like I'm an elf and I'm doing your makeup, but, like,
Mm-hmm.
it's still kinda me, and, I really like that. I like the vibe of, like, imagine you're a little kid and you're at your friend's house and you guys are playing pretend. That's the vibe I like, so I wanted to make more videos like that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get it. And oh, what was I gonna say? Well, like when I'm analyzing, your videos and going through your page, it's hard because, especially in your case, when you're so successful, because everyone just goes back and watches old videos. So I'm like, how did this, like, I don't know how like they did at the start, but I can get a good feel. And like I said, I started with the first one that you ever done and work my way from there. And the first big video that stood out to me early on was one titled, like you just said, "Follow My Instructions," which has 112,000 views. At this point, you're only a month and a half into your channel, and it was your 13th video. I'm guessing this one did really well at the time as well, right? Can you remember about that one?
Is that the one where I'm wearing a purple wig?
I think you might do. You've got like I think on the thumbnail, you have a purple and an orange, like a marker.
Yeah. Yeah, that one did pretty good. I was like, "Oh, crap." Like, this did really well. I think it got, like, 7,000 views, like, not on the first day, but it was, like, a week or so, it got, like, 7,000 views, and most of them were still in the hundreds
Right,
every time I would post them,
right.
and so I was like, "Oh, that's really cool. I didn't think people were gonna like that." And so I was really excited about that one.
Yeah. No, that makes me feel up because I thought like, oh, that was the first one that was, more views than the rest. So I was hoping that it was like that at the time. And I think knowing you like now and looking at your content now, this video just really speaks you. It's a Luna video, like you know what I mean. So it's no surprise that
Yeah.
it done well early on. Um, and you've probably got like I don't want to make this statement, but like you've probably got one of like the fastest growing ASMR channels of all time. I would assume, which indicates to me like how naturally talented you are. And like going back to that first video, like you can tell you get it. Going in, like you can tell like just how to do it right. But it also like shows like you've only been going a year, but it also shows like how quick of a learner you must be as well. Like is that fair to make that comment?
I like to think so. The way that my channel blew up was wild, but, I like to think that I have a knack for it, and I think that I one, yes, being, I think, a quick learner and also all of the hours and hours of studying algorithms and how to grow on social media, I think
That
paid
must
off.
help. Yeah, yeah.
And, knowing what to do with the observations I was making about my channel, I think it is one of the biggest things because you can get lucky, and I think a lot of people were like, "Oh, you got lucky," and it's like, yes, opportunity came knocking at my door, but I was dressed and ready to go, and I think that's the
Hmm.
difference.
You make your
I
own
think
luck.
a lot of yeah, you you gotta be dressed when opportunity comes knocking, like,
Hmm.
I had my shoes on, I had everything, like, "Let's
The elf
go," and
ears,
I think
elf
that
ears were ready.
the elf ears are right here at the ready, let's go.
That's so
But I
funny.
think that was the thing. I just kinda was like, "How do I put this?" Like, I don't know, I was ready to go, and I think that made the difference,
Hmm.
and knowing sort of how to work with the growth as it was happening is what made the difference.
Yeah, because it's like it's one thing getting growth, right? But it's like how do I sustain this, right? And you had the tools to know how to do that.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, I think I think that like back then and like still now, you I would say you're infamous for like chaotic ASMR, right? But there's also like a lot of variety in your stuff as well. Like when I was going through, still at these early stages, you had a video titled "Follow My Instructions" that has 453,000 views. Like an eye exam, 346,000 views. Fixing You, 341,000 views. Like they're all kind of personal attention, but all very different styles of personal attention as well, right? And these are only like 4 to 5 months in as well. But you also didn't have videos that didn't do so well like early on. Was it obvious to you like what styles and themes were doing better than others?
Oh, yeah, and early on, it was kinda crazy because early on, the videos that did the best besides things like follow instructions were, me speaking in Spanish. People really liked that.
Uh huh. Yeah.
So I did a couple of those, and I knew that personal attention did pretty well, so I tried to do that kinda stuff, just fast-paced personal attention and then speaking Spanish. I knew that was kinda working at the time, and right now, I know that follow my instructions videos are doing really well, so I try to post a lot of those, but still try to keep the variety.
Right. Put like a,
within those two.
yeah,
Yeah.
putting
So
different
like,
spins on it.
hmm
Okay. Yeah, I've got you. Um, I think it like after this point in the timeline, I think like I just said, like about 4 or 5 months in, like after that point, like the average views of all your videos just went up from what I was looking at anyway. Which obviously must have been good to see at the time. Like you weren't just getting spikes with videos, like you were getting actual sustained growth. Like that must have been encouraging, right?
yeah, I think that was around the time that I mentioned like I started trying. 'Cause before I was just like, oh, whatever, I'm just posting, whatever. And oh, and I knew it also like mattered what I looked like, which was slightly annoying, but also it is what it is. But I remember that like I think somebody asked me once in a live, they were like, "Does it bother you that the videos where you get all dolled up are the ones that do better than like when you have your short hair and your t-shirts and whatever?" And
I love the short hair, by the
I'm
way.
like, thank you. Uh, and I was like, honestly, like it, like that's how it works, and it shouldn't, but it is.
Yeah.
And also, it gives me an excuse to get dolled up because I don't go out. Like I need to get out more. So
Feel
it
that.
gave me an excuse to do that. So um I remembered knowing like, okay, dressing up for a video helps and the green wig helps. Like I knew that the videos with the green wig were doing really well. So I remember paying attention to that.
They were popular.
And so at the time when I started trying is when that I was like, okay, I'm going to implement all these things that I'm learning about how these things are working. And
Hmm.
I think what really changed it was that I made my like the statement, the goal was you're not going to be able to get rid of me.
Right.
That was my goal. I'm like, you're gonna see my face everywhere, and eventually you're gonna click a video.
Hmm.
Because I saw that other creators who were super consistent and you could tell a video was theirs based on like their background or their energy
Yeah.
or their aesthetic, whatever. That's what kept popping up for me. So I'm like, okay, I want to be like that. I want to see that you can't get rid of me.
Yeah.
And one of the creators that was like that was BB ASMR. I kept seeing her stuff everywhere, and she was uploading constantly, and she did a different look every time, and I'm like, "That
Mm.
gets people's attention, that's gonna get the clicks. Her channel is fucking
It
skyrocketing.
is.
Let's do it."
And I would say like at the minute, she's like one of the channels like a go-to like I would call it like a comfort like creator as well. Like if I'm scrolling, I haven't found something good, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna put a BB video on. Like
Yup.
that's what I mean.
Yes.
And it's like you've got to get that balance between it touches on what you just talked about there between getting like a brand with your thumbnails, but also making them different. So like people don't think, oh, I've already watched that video, I'm not gonna click on it, right? So it's like getting that
Mhm.
balance. And it is hard, but obviously, you've mastered it over there. um,
I love honestly, I love talking about that kind of stuff, and I love, uh, just helping other creators with that. I think I really like that about the ASMR community is that we all kind of support each other.
mhm.
And I love talking about like, okay, here's what I noticed helps get views and stuff, and like telling other people how to do it because I want them to be successful. And it's cool and we all grow together.
Yeah, that's really nice. I might have to hit you up for some advice. You can maybe do like a report card on my channel and tell me all these things I'm doing wrong. Um, no. Now I normally talk about the creators I get on their most popular video, but actually, sorry, which for you is titled "Personal Attention," but the scenario keeps changing, which has 1.2 million views. But I actually wanted to talk about the second highest one, which is titled "Do What I Say, Follow My Instructions," which just has over 1 million views right now. Um, because the one thing I noticed about this when I was looking at the analytics was, did you know that in the week that this video dropped, you gained nearly 60,000 subscribers in that same week?
Yeah, that was around the time everything blew up. That
That's
was this past July. I started July with 20,000 subscribers and ended July with 250,000 subscribers.
yeah, that's
It
insane.
was wild. And that happened because I started a TikTok. And
Mm,
I have a video that I never published, it's still in my unlisted, where I talk about I'm like, should I start a TikTok, you guys? Like, I don't know if I was gonna watch it, blah, blah, blah.
Uh-huh.
And, but I started a TikTok because I kept seeing other creators do it and it was helping their channel. So I was like, oh, I want to
100%.
boost.
Yeah.
And so TikTok really helped. And what people enjoyed on TikTok, I noticed, was follow my instructions, do what I say. So when I started to blow up there, I was like, oh, let me film like a full length one on my channel. So that way, people who come from TikTok see that this content is also here. And
Yeah.
like they know that the content that they like is going to be on my YouTube.
Yeah, there was an
So
easy
I
transition,
filmed
right?
that.
Hmm.
Yeah, I filmed that to sort of get the people from TikTok to stick around. And I think that's what really cemented it.
Yeah, that's what helped it blow up as well. But that's really smart, and it's definitely like what you know what you said about you see so many creators go to TikTok, really like pop off on there, and then that just boosts their YouTube channel as a result.
Hmm.
I would definitely do that if I didn't have a chronic illness that I'm dealing with as well. So it's like super hard because
Oh, sorry.
I know what to do. I just don't have like the energy to do it. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
but back to that video though. Did you expect that one to like to blow up like in the way that it did, or
I expected it to do
to
well,
do well?
but
Not a million. No, no one ever
no,
did.
the whole channel, like, I expected TikTok to help my channel. I didn't expect TikTok to blow up the way that it did, and I didn't expect my channel to blow up the way that it did.
Hmm.
Like, this was all the goal was to get to this many subscribers, but I imagined this would happen in, like, a year or 2.
Yeah.
So it really it 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 shook my world.
Now, I think it's obvious to blame like to blame TikTok for that growth, but like that video in particular, what do you think made it so special though?
Um, I think I think something that helped, and this does tie in with TikTok, but I think something that helped was when I started TikTok, and this is also, I guess, advice for anyone who wants to do it, is I knew that with TikTok, everything's really, really, really quick.
Hmm.
And you get to the point or people keep scrolling. So what I did was I just got to the point, which is also what I do with my YouTube videos as well. But I was like, okay, all you have to do is what I say, boom, and then we're starting the video. And I just try to hook them into it. And I went about it in that way because I knew that a lot of people that I'd probably pop on their FYP, they weren't gonna probably know what ASMR was. So I was like, bring them in, I it
Yeah.
was like, "You're just gonna do what I say. It's not ASMR. What are you talking about?" And that it might help, like, chill them out, and then they'd be interested in what this is, come to my YouTube, look at all this stuff.
Yeah.
And so I did exactly that on YouTube.
Smart.
I started the video with, "All you have to do is what I say. Boom, let's get started," and it
Mm.
was right into it.
Yeah.
And I think that really helped.
I mean, because I think on TikTok as well, I would say the audience on there is definitely younger, and that normally means short attention spans, right? So you've got to get them with that short, snappy, like engaging content. And I think you did that perfectly.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, when videos go viral like this, like it must do wonders for the channel as a whole, right? And is that something that is noticeable?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if I see, like, I got a jump in subscribers, I go to my TikTok and I'm like, "Did something blow up?" And then I'll see that something did in
It's
fact
some,
blow up,
yeah,
and I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's what happened."
yeah. And then like I mean you get like a trickle effect at that point, right? Like that video has like 1 million views, but then people will watch that and be like, oh, this was insane, and then they're like, okay, I want to do another learner video, and then they go to a second one, and then at that point the algorithm has them hooked, right? So you know it
Mhm.
helps all your videos when that one goes viral for sure. um okay, I'm gonna give you some supreme gas right now. So looking at your average views now, um, I, I I didn't do proper maths on this, but it like you're sitting at around 250,000 views on average. I would say at the minute. It might even be more. You've got 3 videos with over 1 million views, one nearly there, and 71 videos with over 100,000 views, which is actually nearly no, no, it's more. I actually wrote that down, which is more than like 50% of all your videos. Um, all in a year, all in a year, by the way, in a year today. Does that really like put into perspective like what you've been able to achieve?
Yeah, I think there's a few times where I even now I'm still like, "Is this real?" Like, it's very, very strange, and I think God, I think the other day I really started to sort of cement itself that, like, "Hey, this is real, this is really happening." Um, but it's wild because, when I first started it, I would see people with a bunch of followers, and they would post, and it would be like, "3 hours ago," and it's got over 100,000 views, or it's got over even just 20,000 views, and I'm just like, "Oh, imagine," and like, just imagine what that must feel like, and now it happens, and I'm like, "I don't know how to process this." Like,
Uh-huh.
it still doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It's still so hard to get it, especially because it happens so fast that
Yeah.
I think my mind is still catching up.
Hmm. I mean, like I said earlier, I don't know for fact, but like I would definitely assume, your channel is one of the fastest growing ASMR channels that there's been. Um, are you like, I mean, to give us some insight into your like creative mind, are you always thinking about like the bigger picture, like what's next, like how do I get to that 1 million views again, or is that not how you work? Do you not operate like that?
I would love to get to a million, I really hope so. I think what I like to I just wanna live comfortably. I grew up really, really poor,
Mm-hmm.
and because of, my mental illness, it was really hard to keep a job, which is part of the reason I've done so many things. Um, I just kept bouncing from one thing to another,
All right.
and being a content creator was really cool because I got to be my own boss, but I was still relying heavily on brand deals. So the fact that now my biggest source of income is YouTube is really helpful because it now allows me to have the resources to create and think about creation more than just like, oh, so and so is telling me I need to do this, or I have to do this for
Uh-huh.
this person, or
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
So I think my biggest goal is honestly to just get to live a comfortable life, give my inner child everything she's ever wanted, make up for lost time, make up for the fact that I grew up. I had a pretty rough childhood, so being able to make up for that, that's the general goal.
I
And
love
then
it.
there's other like big goals. Like I really want to make ASMR in space. That's that's
I
like a
mean, that
big
is
goal.
that is that might be the biggest one I've ever heard, but I'm here for it. That's
I think that would be so cool.
yeah. Well, yeah. No, you got to hit. I tell you, you need to hit up for that, Mr. Beast. He'll be down for that. ASMR in space. Are you familiar with Mr. Beast at all?
I've only seen talks of him on Twitter. I don't know.
He's obsessed with YouTube. He's been obsessed with YouTube from since when like he was a kid, and now he's like one of the biggest creators on the platform. He just done a real life Squid Game. I don't know if you've seen that video. You need to watch it. It's so good. Like the sets that he produced for that video are insane, and like I think if you like if you like your analytics and your optimization and stuff like that, I think you would appreciate his content. But he's always trying to create these like wacky ideas, like you just said, like ASMR in space and stuff like that. Um, and he does videos like last one to take the hand off like the Lamborghini gets the car, and then they're filming for like 3 days straight, and like there's like two people left with the hand on this car. Like it's just like stupid videos like that, but they just do so well and they're so interesting. But yeah, this is about you, not Mr. Beast. um Anyway, the last part of that little section there though is, what are the biggest areas do you think that you could improve on as a content creator?
Work-life balance, definitely. Uh, Time management, I'm really working on that right now. I've
Hmm.
gotten a little bit better at it, but, I the amount of times I've burned out, holy shit. The amount of times that I've literally just broken down in the middle of filming and been like, I can't. I'm only one person, and I'm gonna break. Like, I don't know what to do." And sort of finding a balance so that it doesn't happen so much.
Yeah.
Like today, I was so tempted to film today because I'm like, "Oh, well, I'm getting dressed up for the podcast. I might as well film." And I'm like, "You have filmed 4 videos already.
Wow.
Calm it down. Like, calm down." And so having
Stop
to
it.
tell myself, hey, like you're allowed to relax. And it's something my wife always reminds me of. She's like, hey, what's the point of having this cool internet job if you're just gonna work your ass off anyway and not get to enjoy it? And I'm like, right. And just finding a balance, I think, is something that I really want to get better at
I
as a
think
creator.
I think you've got the perfect person there to help you with that though. Like it's making me
Yeah, she's
emotional thinking about
incredible.
like how awesome you guys are. So there you go.
She's incredible.
Uh-huh. No. Well, I hope you figure that out because it's tough, right? It's tough, right? Um but yeah, I have a little quick fire round now. So you gotta be as quick as you can answering these. So on the
Here we
ball,
go.
ready. So they're all ASMR related. Um
Okay.
okay, are you ready?
All right.
All right. What's your fave trigger?
Light triggers and follow my instructions, especially follow the light triggers.
What's your least favorite trigger?
Spray sounds. I don't like
Like
them.
spray sounds? That's a weird one.
I
Okay.
don't like them. They're jarring to me. I'm like, stop it. I'm like a
uh
cat.
who is your go-to creator?
Um, it changes. Right now, I just found a new channel. Oh my God, I wish I remembered the name right now. They have like 5,000 subscribers. I'm so mad I don't remember. But they do fast and aggressive. So go-to creators, it also depends on the time of day. Like if I'm doing my makeup, it's BBASMR. Don't know why, but like that is like prime doing my makeup ASMR. If
My little
I
pea,
can't
my little pea.
with I if I cannot for the life of me fall asleep because my brain is going too fast, it's ASMR Eliza and it's one of her follow my instructions videos. And if I need like brain goes stupid but really, really fast, it's Miss Manganese
Miss
because I
Manganese.
never know what's coming next.
I love it. Whispering, soft spoken, or no talking?
Soft spoken
Soft spoken.
or
Oh.
soft spoken with whispering. I especially love when it's like and like they're like whispering and then out of nowhere they just like stop speaking and
I
then
know what you mean.
whispering like
I know what you.
oh
Yeah, no, that's actually no, that's good. That's a good. Who is the most underrated ASMR artist?
oh my God, that channel I just found. I'm
You don't
so
know who
messed
it is.
up. I think no, I don't want to say the wrong name and like totally like mislead. Maybe I'll like leave a comment on this podcast and say who it is.
We can
But
confirm that later. Date.
yeah, that one I found it and I'm like, this is so underrated. Like I can't even believe it.
I feel like.
And there's been a few
Uh-huh.
where they have like 80 subscribers and I'm like, what? Like no,
Wow.
no, this isn't right. I usually try to like share small channels on my
Uh-huh.
community page. Oh,
Yeah.
and also Flower Cloud ASMR. Flower Cloud ASMR is just such a sweet soul and she's got 15K, but she should have like in the hundreds of thousands.
Mm-hmm.
Just great content. And just super tingly and also just I love the things she talks about. Like she's just so sweet.
Yeah.
So Flower Cloud.
Flower Cloud. And I guess this is kind of a similar one, but like best up and comer, and it's probably that channel that you can't think of.
Yes. Yes, like I know she's gonna blow up, definitely.
But is it a new channel as well, or like they've just been going a while, but you think they're good?
I don't know. I think it's relatively new. They didn't have that many videos. I literally found them last night.
Okay,
Like if I had my other phone on me, I would
good check.
be looking. Yeah, I was looking, but no, I'm gonna leave a comment on this because
If you
I need to.
remember, I can we can either put a comment or I can layer it over the top like now when we're talking about it. Um, okay, that ends the quick fire round. Some interesting answers there. um, but now we're gonna move away from ASMR just for a little bit. So talk to me about Luna outside of it. What are they doing? What are your hobbies and interests?
I love video games.
Okay,
All I want to do sometimes is just play video games. I
give me some names.
specifically Apex Legends right now. I've been
Oh,
obsessed with it for
okay.
months.
Who do you main?
I I main Loba and I main Mirage. It depends on the situation.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll main Loba in Battle Royale, but I'll main Mirage in arenas
Okay.
because it's the tactic is different. But I literally just got a new monitor yesterday and I can actually see what I'm doing. My journey with Apex has been ridiculous. I started it on the Nintendo Switch. So I was playing like 8-bit Apex at that
Oh,
point. Like
right.
who gives a
Okay.
shit?
You were just completely
And
nerfing yourself at that point.
yes, and then I got a PlayStation, which is a Destiny limited edition PlayStation I found. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. But
Nice.
so I got a PlayStation and I started playing it on there on this TV that false advertised that it was good, and it clearly wasn't. It was still like not as 8-bit, now it was more like an impressionist painting,
Uh-huh.
but like
Uh-huh.
still couldn't see shit. And then I got a monitor and I can see what I'm doing, and nobody stands a chance now. I mean, I'm like a mediocre player, but like I love it so much. Like I'll die and I'm just laughing anyway because it's
You're just
so
having that
much
much fun.
fun.
I wish I was you, because that's not me.
Okay, with like first person shooters?
Yeah, so I mean, my go-to is COD. I've played COD since I was like 11, 12, and I mean, I've pretty much played it every year. There was like a 3 year gap where I didn't play it. But that's my go-to. I've watched a bit of Apex, never played it. I like watching like Valorant and stuff like that. But yeah,
Oh my God, you should definitely try Apex.
definitely try Apex.
It's so much fun.
It looks like
And
so
me and
hectic
my
though. Like it gives me like
it is.
it kind of gives me like anxiety just like watching it because there's so much going on.
It's so hectic. Like sometimes we have to stop because I play with Ronnie and she's like, my heart can't take it. I have to stop. It's too much. It's too much. So we'll literally have to stop because it got way too intense. But we started off literally just like hiding. We barely played. Like we were like, okay, I don't
Take
know
it
how to play this
slow.
game, so we're just gonna hide.
Uh-huh.
And maybe if somebody comes, we'll like, pew, and then slowly over time we got better and
Got
better.
on the
And
show.
there's a subreddit called Apex University and they teach you how to get better at the game, and
That's
I've just
cute.
become obsessed with getting good at this game.
So, do you watch pro play as well?
Yes, there's this streamer named Princess who mains Nova, and she is insane. Like she'll use a sniper up close and kick ass, and I'm like, what the
Okay.
fuck? Or like somebody will be like up in the sky, like, and she's just like, pew,
Yeah.
done.
Like
And I'm like,
mind blown.
how?
Because there's like there's like professional leagues and stuff right now. Like it's 3v3 leagues. That's the platform, I think, right?
Mhm.
So it's doing well. I mean, it's been out like how many years now? Like 4 years at this point, maybe.
Yeah, I think so. I think I tried Apex in like 2018 and I couldn't get past the tutorial version of it for whatever reason. And I was like, fuck this game, I don't get it. And I gave up. And then this past year, my wife was like, let's try it again. Come on. And
I know you love it.
then we tried it and now we're addicted. And she is my buddy and we just play together and
That's your
we
duo.
play as yeah, we duo, and she plays one of the characters, Valkyrie. She mains Valkyrie, and I
Right.
main Lola, and they have like chemistry. So we'll do this thing where we'll like point out a weapon for the other one to pick up, even if they don't even need it, just so that we can save their little talk lines because they flirt with each
That's so you guys need to stop being so cute. Honestly, it's not fair. It's
So
not
we're
fair.
like,
But I know from obviously your social media and stuff. You're a big Animal Crossing fan as well.
oh yeah, oh
Like,
yeah, I love Animal Crossing.
do you play any other single player games like that?
Yes, I play, right now I'm on Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm obsessed with it. I'm about to get the DLC. Um, I love The Sims.
Sims, okay, classic.
I grew up with The Sims and I
Yeah.
grew up with Animal Crossing as well. And Super Mario and Kirby.
Oh,
Obsessed with
obviously,
Kirby. That was
yeah.
the first video game I ever played. Was Kirby Nightmare in Dreamland.
You know something's went wrong on your
Uh,
social media page if you never see like a Luna and like posting a Kirby meme that day. Like you might need to call 999 because something's happened. I think.
oh right, yeah, I post Kirby memes on my story all the time.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's when you know something's went wrong with Luna.
Yeah, I absolutely love Kirby. I'm trying to think of what other games. I love Super Smash Bros,
Mm-hmm.
Mario
So
Kart,
you've always been like a Nintendo
Asphalt
kid.
Legends. Yeah, I grew up a Nintendo kid, and then my wife got me into like bigger games because the thing is, like, I grew up as like a girly girl, and I was always told like, "Oh, like you're not good at this. You can't play video games. You can't play with us," and like all this stuff.
Right.
And so I was like, "Okay, I'll just stick to my Nintendo because I'm not about to get bullied, like whatever." So then, and then I met my wife, and she was a really big gamer, and I was like, "I don't know. I don't know if I wanna do all that." Like, 'cause it got triggering at that point. I'm like, I've been kicked out of this space.
Yeah.
I don't want anything to do with it." And she introduced me to it in a way that like, she was really smart about it. Like, she introduced me to first person shooters by starting me off with, like, super chill first person shooters.
Uh-huh.
So, like, ones that were more story based, like BioShock, and now I
Okay.
love BioShock.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Classic.
and then we moved on to Mass Effect, where it's also story based and you can put the fighting really low. So then we got into that, and now I love Mass Effect,
Ronnie
and
knows what
she
she's
got me
doing.
into yeah, she really does. And now I also love Dragon Age Inquisition. I love Destiny. Now I'm just a big gamer.
Well,
And
if
it's great because it's all I ever wanted, but I was told it wasn't for me, and now it gets to be for me.
yeah, no, I love that. You should, yeah, you should play some COD though at some point. You
I
got,
have before, but it was back when I, like, didn't know what I was doing with first person
uh-huh.
shooters, so maybe I'll get into that. Oh, and I also love, Grand Theft Auto. That's fun just
Oh,
when I
class,
wanna let my chaos out.
classic, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, letting the
That's how I let my anger out.
letting the
And
chaos
then
out.
learn to snipe.
I have a funny story about that. So I played Grand Theft Auto 3. It's gonna make out like my parents were really bad parents, but I played Grand Theft Auto 3 and I was like 8 or 9 or something like that, right? It's like an 18 game. And so you know, for those those of you guys who've played Grand Theft Auto know, you do various missions, and some of the missions, particularly this one in Grand Theft Auto 3, you had to pick up this like mob leaders, prostitutes from this building and like drive them back to his crib. But I didn't know they were prostitutes at the time, so when my mum actually came into my room when I was doing this part, and I basically told her at the time that they were just his girlfriends. All of them were just his girlfriends, and I was picking them up. Well, obviously, they were prostitutes at the time with like barely nothing on. So that's my
Oh
funny
my
GTA stuff.
god.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I had a parent walk in on me when I made my Sims woohoo, and I'm like, "It was one of their wants. I was just trying to fulfill their want."
The game was telling me to do it. That's so funny. So, all right, so you're a big gamer, and I think there's something else that you've just, you're quite passionate about as well. Begins with a D. Two
Dragon Age.
two words. One
Dogs. Wait, no, that's not the word.
both begin with D.
Oh, Dungeons& and Dragons!
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
That's also a relatively new interest.
uh-huh. So how did you, how did you get into D&D?
Critical Role, definitely started it all. Um,
Well, how did you get into
my
Critical
wife really
Role?
wanted me to watch Critical Role. She was like, "There's this
Oh,
thing, it's called Critical Role, and the
she
voice
was
actors
into it.
for all these video games I've been showing you."
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, "I don't know. I don't know if I wanna sit and watch these people play a game." And then finally, I was like, "Alright, let's do it. Let's watch it." And I was hooked. Oh,
Mm.
we finished campaign 2 finally.
Oh, you finished it.
Like, I meant to text you about it because I was like, "Oh my god, I finished it."
Oh, well, we're gonna
Mm.
talk about it, right? So if you're a Critical Role fan and you don't want spoilers, skip to the next segment of the video, and then you'll be safe. Or like skip like 5 minutes, that'll be fine. But you've been given a spoiler warning. But like, how good was Caduceus's divine intervention to resurrect Molly Mock? Like, can we talk about that,
I
please? Can we talk about that?
can't even believe that. Like, what are the odds?
No, not
What
very.
the hell?
Yeah, it was like a one in. It was
Like
a 1 in 10.
15% or
Yeah, it
something?
was a one. Oh no, yeah, it was more because he was level 15. Yeah, it was a 15% chance. Yeah.
What the hell? I was so bummed at when at first it didn't work because 'cause I'm like, "Oh, that would've been so cool to see." And then
Yeah.
what?
No, but like fair
That was
play, like
insane.
they didn't like bullshit any rolls. They were like, no, you just haven't rolled well enough. Like, I'm sorry. And then he was like, actually, I can divine intervention right now. So good. What did he say?
I can't even believe it.
He was like, just put
I'm
it back.
curious. I'm just try
He was
something.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like whoever that was, just put it back. Oh, so good, so good.
Yes. Oh my God, what the hell? I can't even believe that they defeated Lucian. I thought it was gonna be a TPK, honestly. After a certain point, I'm like, I don't
Right.
know,
It was
man. I think they're gonna die.
it was tough because he had like all these like little tentacles that were coming out and doing different things, and then there was like layer effects going on. Like,
Yeah, I don't know. I think the one thing I wish that would have happened is I wish that Essek and Caleb would have been endgame. That makes me so sad. I was like, "Am I gonna get my gay boys? Am I gonna get them?" Like, I just wanted them to be endgame. And my
yeah.
wife was like, "What the hell, Andre? Like, why do you want your gay boys so bad?" And I love them. I shipped them so hard. It's just
Well,
Essek and Caleb.
cute. They are cute. Like, I think canonically they do get together though, but like nothing really like happened in role play, right?
Right, I think that's what happened is, like, Caleb mentioned it very briefly that, "Oh, this happened," but then that was it, and I'm like, "I wanted a role play moment."
Uh huh.
And Bo and Yasha. Oh, Bo and Yasha and Ford and Jester, I was so happy.
Yeah. No, there's some. I mean, all Critical Role relationships are good. Like, I don't think you've watched the first season yet. Have you?
I haven't, though I know who ends up with
Oh,
who,
you do
but
know.
I haven't seen it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, there's this artist on Twitter, and she titles them Critical Role First Kisses. And she like digitally draws like the characters when they have like the first kisses, and they're so beautiful. If you've never came across that person, I don't know the pronouns, but yeah, you should like next time I see it, I'll link you it because they're so good.
Yes. I would love it. I love all the fan art.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and I know you try to play a little bit of D&D yourself, but you've had bad experiences with trying to get into groups and stuff, right?
Yes, up until, we started it, and then also I have a campaign going on with one of my best friends, and, like, that one's, like, really low key and chill, and that's been fun.
Yeah.
But prior to that, it was hard to find a group that fit. So my experience is very limited. Like, the campaign that I'm currently playing, we've played maybe about 3 sessions,
Uh huh. What,
and
wait,
that's it. So I'm
what are you
still new.
playing? Is it homebrew? Is it official stuff?
It's official stuff. It's I think, what is it called? It's the one that they do for Critical Role. Wildmount.
Oh, Explorer's Guide to Wildmount.
Yeah.
Oh, so they're doing it off that. Okay, that's cool. That must be cool playing in like Critical Role world.
Yeah, yeah, I was like, "Can you just make it as easy as possible on us? Like, just do what they do in Critical Role." That way I at least get the idea of the world because
Yeah,
it's so overwhelming. The
yeah.
first campaign we tried was homebrew, and it was space pirates, and I'm just like, "I don't know what the hell I'm doing right now."
Well, that I
And it
mean,
was a group of, like, 12. It
oh, that's a lot
wasn't
of people.
working.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no. So, I mean, for those of you guys who don't know, we are starting a live streamed D&D show in January. Don't have a set date yet, but we're going to be playing through Strixhaven, which is like a Harry Potter esque like university setting. So we start it like literally on our first day of university, and we go through 4 years of Magic University together, and I can't wait.
So excited.
It's gonna be so good. Yeah, I'll try and link some stuff down below, but if you haven't checked that out yet, um, yeah, we've got a great cast, a great DM. Like the DM, like he loves Matthew Mercer's style of DMing. So I know from that point of view, you're gonna get like really good, like that critical role experience, I guess, if you want to call it that. Um, so yeah, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. What?
Excited. I keep thinking about it. Every day I'm thinking about it. Every day I'm, like, making pic crews of my
Mhm.
character. I keep changing what she looks like,
Which
but
one? Did
I
you
keep making pic crews.
did you see my character? We don't want to give spoilers away yet, but did you see mine?
No, I gotta look in the Discord.
Oh well, yeah, yeah.
I have to catch up. I have, like, not been like I said, I'm, like, working on the work-life balance, so I've just been, like, crazy busy. Sometimes Ronnie will update me on what's going on, but I'm
Uh
like, "I gotta catch up. I gotta catch up."
huh. No, Ronnie's pretty active in there. You can tell she's fired up, ready to go as well. So,
She's so excited about it.
huh.
Oh my god, she's so excited.
No, I think we can put something like really special together. So excited for that.
Mhm.
Anyway, I could talk about D&D all day. To round out this section though, I wanted to ask you if you had any tips for anyone watching who was thinking about starting their own channel or are in the process of doing so, what advice would you give to them as a creator yourself?
Uh, you don't need all the fancy equipment. You can just have your phone and your phone's camera and your phone's microphone, and that's it. You
True.
don't have to have all these other things. Um, Also, just start. You also don't have to be fully prepared. So start maybe just filming a video that's just for you, a video you don't plan to post. One that's literally just the audience is you, and film what you would want to see. And maybe you don't even post that video, and maybe you filmed 5 videos that you don't post, but at least you've started. And when you launch, you can launch at 80. You don't have to launch at 100%. You will learn as you go. But the most important thing is to start, and then you'll get more prepared. You don't have to be all the way ready. Just launch at 80.
I love that advice, especially like the, post for you at the start. Like I've never heard anyone say that before, but I completely agree. So there you go. There you go. That concludes the present section. We're gonna move on to the future now. Very ominous, the future. So yeah, exactly. So yeah, I wanted to start off by asking: are there things that you definitely want to do that you haven't had a chance to yet with your channel and ASMR video creation, or is it kind of going to be more of the same but with like more little twists and turns?
I think there's a few things I want to do that once I get my time management stuff right and I get my space more set up, because this is just like a corner of our spare room. The rest is a mess. Like everything behind this camera is a mess. Um, but once I've got that stuff figured out, I really want to do like cosplay, like full cosplay acting videos. I want to do a jester cosplay video. I
Please,
love jesters so much.
just a
Um,
lover,
Actually,
actually.
I I love her so much. Have you heard about the Traveler? Um,
It's pretty cool.
but I love it, and I want to do a Jester roleplay video. I have like props for it. I wish I would have brought them, but I have like full props. I have the little brochure that she hands out.
Oh my
Um,
gosh, travel
I
con.
want to do Loba from Apex cosplay.
Mm-hmm.
Just a bunch of like full on
Yeah,
cosplay role play videos I would love to do.
there for it.
Um, Once I like get more practice with acting, because it's been years. Like I used to act every single day, and it's been years now. I think the last time I was in anything where I was acting, besides like doing our elf show, which got gave me a little bit of practice, but we haven't done that in like a year.
Uh huh.
Um, I would love to do more like for real, I'm acting sort of
Well,
videos. I think the role plays on, huh?
you're definitely gonna get the experience with the D&D though.
D&D,
There
yeah,
you
that's
go.
definitely gonna help.
Uh huh.
And yeah, I think the roleplay videos on my channel, like I make like characters, but I want to do like this is legit like immersive. I feel like with my roleplay videos, it's more like the way that I think of them is like we're playing pretend versus this is an immersive experience where I'm acting and being like this character is fully fleshed out sort of thing.
Yeah.
So that's something that I definitely want to eventually do. I also want to make, I don't know what kind of videos exactly, but I guess quote unquote normal videos in ASMR style. So like sometimes I'll be watching videos on YouTube where like let's say it's like a film criticism video, for example.
Uh huh.
I love watching film criticism. And more than I watch movies, like I'll watch them about movies I've never seen. And I love them, but they're all like, "Hey, what's up, you guys? So today we're gonna blah, blah," and I'm like, I just want to like fall asleep to this, but I can't because you're yelling at me. And so I'd love to do videos that people do in non-ASMR style
Uh huh.
in an ASMR style.
Okay.
Or like how Curtis Connor makes reaction videos, for example. I love Curtis Connor, but I can't fall asleep to Curtis Connor because they're wild, you know? And
Yeah.
so I'd love to take those concepts and make them into ASMR
ASMRify
videos.
them.
Yeah, and I don't know what kind of content I would make like that yet, but eventually I would love to do that once I know what kind of content I'd like to make.
Yeah. And I mean, a good idea is also like, once you've fleshed this Strixhaven character out, you could do an ASMR roleplay as them.
I'd love to. I'm already shopping for the pieces.
Oh, okay.
Like I'm already here. Like I'm
Oh,
probably gonna show up first day
I think
in
I
cosplay.
think everyone is, apart from like me, because
Yes.
I just can't do it. Like, no, I can't do it. I'm not good at like creating things and stuff like that when it comes to costumes. But we'll see what happens.
Launch at 80. It's okay.
Well, the thing is as well. I mean, spoilers. I'm playing a girl as well, so that would mean like, I'd have to go a wig on every stream as
Yeah.
well. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know how I feel about doing that.
That's a
Um,
whole commitment.
yeah, that's. I mean, if it's you, like, do you? But I don't think it's me. You know what I mean? Um, okay. Now you've done a couple of collabs, right? I think I've seen. But who are your who are your dream collabs? Who would you love to collab with in the space that you haven't had the chance to already?
Uh, Aubrey Plaza.
Yeah, do it. Why not?
Curtis Connor. I would love to do these collabs in ASMR with these people who aren't exactly ASMR artists.
Mhm.
Jenna Marbles, if she ever comes back. Um, who else? And now I'm thinking ASMR artists. I think I would love to do a collab with GB.
Right.
Um, maybe Goodnight Moon too. I think that would be fun.
Yeah.
Oh, who else? I think there's been a few where I'm like, oh, I could think of a collab with them, but it's slipping my mind right now. But
No.
GB and Goodnight Moon when it comes to ASMR artists, and then Aubrey Plaza,
Oh,
Curtis Connor, and Jenna Marbles.
I like it. One day we're gonna come back and be like, yep, they spoke into existence.
Yes.
Nice. I think you've kind of spoke on it already, but like, are there any other like future projects in the works that you can talk about without giving too much away or spoilers away? I know we've already touched on quite a lot that you've got planned. Anything else you can think of?
I I really want to start bringing gaming into it.
Mm-hmm.
So whether that be a gaming channel or Twitch streaming, I think I'm leaning more towards a gaming channel.
Right.
Um, but I'd love to start bringing that into the mix, this ASMR and gaming. So definitely that. And then for
Oh,
more
fun.
like near future things, I just this weekend I filmed a bunch of holiday videos, so I'm really excited for those to come out. I've got one
Okay.
that's uh the elf roleplay video that I'm super excited about. And I don't want to say too much about it, but
Yeah.
it's just fun. It was so much fun filming it. I ended up having to film it twice because I forgot my ears the first time, and I was like,
No.
"Well,
Oh
I'm supposed
no.
to be an elf," so
Yeah, you
I was
kind of
like,
need
"We're
those.
starting over."
Hmm.
I'm literally almost done filming, and I was like, "Blah, blah, blah, blah. I forgot my ears.
Oh,
No. All right." Bonk, and I just like started all over. But it was so much fun. I didn't even mind.
yeah.
So I'm really excited for that one to come out.
Okay, nice. I mean, like I said before that question, you already give us lots of little hints and crumbs of stuff coming up, so I'm sure the fans will appreciate that. And again, this kind of leads on to the next question, which is, have you thought about doing other types of content, right? Like streaming, whether it's YouTube, Twitch, whether it's ASMR, gaming, something else. And then also, I don't think you have like a paid service, like something like Patreon or anything like that as well. Like, have you given thought to anything like that? And is the plans for those type of things in the future?
I actually just closed my Patreon because I
Oh, you
realized
just.
I couldn't keep up with it
Oh,
at
okay.
all. And I'm like, hold on, my allergies got me.
You good?
Okay. Um, I couldn't keep up with it. I felt really bad because these people are supporting me and wanting extra content, and I couldn't give it to them. And I was like, when I was working out this whole work-life balance thing, I'm like, all right, elimination time.
What's
And
gotta
so
go?
I decided to close my Patreon.
Yeah, makes sense.
Um, I used to do custom videos and I stopped doing that. Um, and people keep asking me about a cameo, but it's just too much. Like I'm one person
Mm-hmm.
and I couldn't do it. So I think like when it comes to extra things like that, I had to literally be like, no more. So with that kind of stuff, no, but definitely with other kinds of content, like bringing gaming into the mix, I do eventually want to go back and do music again. Um, but that'll be for like later on.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Again, I mean that does lead into the last question. You're good at this. Which is, like what are the, the ultimate goals of the channel for you? Like, I mean, obviously at the minute, you're a full-time creator, but as you just said, like you would like to revisit, your musical roots. Do you see yourself balancing the two there, just leaving ASMR behind at some point and just going all like fully focused on music, or you just kind of see how like, life plays out, I guess?
Uh, a little bit of seeing how life plays out and a little bit of I don't want to stop doing ASMR. I think this is the first job I've ever had where I'm like, oh, I could do this for years
You're loving
and
it.
still love it.
Yeah.
Uh, so I definitely want to still do ASMR. And then when it comes to music, I know that I prefer it as a hobby. And I don't even know what kind of music I would make. I was doing like more serious type of music before. I think that I would probably come back and do more like Bo Burnham style music.
All
He
right.
is a huge inspiration to me as a creator. I like the fact that he makes his comedy with music and then also gets really real about life sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that mix. So I think if I did music again, it would probably be like that. Maybe I'd do some like serious shit, but for the most part, I think it would be like musical comedy.
A little bit of comedy in
And
there.
then
Uh-huh.
yeah, and then I think I also really want to continue acting. So I think um the fact that this channel gave me a platform and allowed me to become more known as a person and as a creator, I think gives me the opportunity to maybe do acting gigs that I love to act. I love music. I love musical theater. So I think in the future I would like to do those things.
Yeah.
Whether it's the I think with acting it would be more in the near future, but ASMR would still be like this is my job, and then acting and music and stuff would be like my hobby.
Yeah. Yeah. And knowing you before this and knowing you after this, I'm pretty sure, whatever path you go down in your work and life, I'm pretty sure it's just going to turn to gold because you have the talent to do it, the passion to do it, and the know-how to do it. So I'm pretty sure you'll have no problems there. And I know as well that
That's
you'll
so sweet.
put your happiness first. That's the most important thing, isn't it?
Oh yes. I want to live comfortably in a nice little house with a gaming loft
A
and
gaming loft.
probably a little farm.
That's cute. But like, I mean, before we end, I did just think because before this, I didn't know you were like, an ex-musician and very musical. But that makes sense now why you want to play a bard.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 'cause I was having so much trouble coming up with a character, and Ronnie, of course, being who she is and always coming through for me, she was like, "Okay, well, who would you be if you were in this world? Just who would you be? You don't have to think about being a character, just who would you be?" And I'm like, "Well, I think I'd be a bard, and I would be a an artist." And she was like, "Okay, so be a bard."
Mm-hmm. Makes
You don't
sense.
have to try and come up with this character, just start with you and then build off of that, and that really helped, really helped figure out where I was going with this character.
Uh-huh. Okay. So I'm excited now because I'm pretty sure you're gonna come up with some nice stuff. Like, are you thinking like I don't know how much thought you've put into it. Like, are you gonna do like are you gonna make your own little songs and like poems and stuff like that, or like what's the plan there, or are you keeping a secret?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Ronnie and I played a game. There's this creator, Ginny D,
Oh
who,
yeah. Oh
you
yes.
know Ginny D?
Uh-huh.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, she's amazing. So she did like 50 questions to ask your character in order to like get to know them better.
Oh.
And we did a thing. Ronnie and I sat down as our characters and we answered these questions to each other and then built off of those questions. So like she would answer something and I'd be like, okay, but why? And then she'd be like, well, because of this. And I'm like, well, what do you don't you think that blah blah blah? But like I would answer her questions as my character and be like curious of like getting to know her character. And then she'd be like, okay, but then what about this? And we just have this conversation basically, like, in role play, figuring out
I
our
love it.
characters.
Yeah, that's a great way
It
to
was
do it.
so much fun.
Oh,
Yeah, and it really helped me figure out this character, and so she was like, "Okay, so, like, you're a bard, then, like, what do you like to do?" And I'm like, "Oh, well, I like to just sing little songs and just, like, that's what makes me happy is just sitting in my room and playing songs." And she's like, "Can you show me one?" And I was like, "Okay." And so I, like, started singing this song I made up. It was so much fun. I'm like, "Alright, I guess I'm" that really solidified it for me too that I'm playing a bard because 'cause I'm like, I like making up silly songs. So
well, that's the
that's
whole
what I'm gonna
humor
do.
thing as well. Like you said before, like the bard's perfect because they're always like, this humorous character, right?
Yes.
I love it. Oh, I'm so excited. Just anytime I talk about it, I just get more excited.
Right? Me too.
But unfortunately, that is where we're gonna end today's podcast, and I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you so much, Luna, for one coming on, but two taking the time out of your day. Because as we talked about, time is very precious. So I appreciate it, and I appreciate you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. This was so much fun. I've been so excited about it.
No, I'm glad you had fun. I had a lot of fun, and my cheeks are hurting from smiling so much.
Same.
Um, but if you guys did make it this far, and there's probably not a lot of yous, but if there's any of you who weren't familiar with Luna before today, make sure you check out the video description and the pinned comment because it'll have the links to their channel and their social media pages so you can keep up to date with all things Luna Bloom ASMR, basically. And if this is the first time you're watching the podcast as well and you enjoyed it, I do these every single week with a different ASMR creator. And the best way to support me in doing that is to leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Comment down below what you thought. If you have any questions for me or Luna, please leave those down below as well. Subscribe if you haven't clicked that button already. Because, like I said, I do these every week and I upload a normal ASMR video every single week as well, so you won't miss out on that. Make sure you click that bell icon and select all so you get a notification every time a new podcast episode goes live or a new ASMR video goes live, so you're just always up to date and you're feeling good about it. The final thing is, as you'll have seen on the layout of this podcast, the podcast is also available in audio only form on all your favorite podcasting platforms from Spotify to Apple Podcasts, you name it, the podcast is on it. So if you're someone who's maybe on the go a little bit more and you can't, afford to watch a video, but you can afford to listen, then that'll be perfect for you. Basically, when a new episode goes live on YouTube on a Wednesday, the following Tuesday, the audio only version of that podcast will be available for you to listen. So there you go. This has been the Wiretap Whisper Podcast, episode 31. Luna has been amazing, and so have you guys. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.